Yeah, now we're recording.
Hi TED446. Hello class. Today we are doing our lesson plan via broadcast because that's how we have to get things done. So it's going to be a little different. We are going to be presenting as if we were two teachers at a conference, and our class is like live in session, and there's going to be a substitute, Miss Smith, guiding the instruction for our students, and they're going to be watching us on a podcast. Our classroom context, we are teaching freshman English comp, and we are going to have a thinking and writing group exercise. Also, we are going to have two visually impaired students, Susie and Max, who we will be addressing throughout the lesson. We also have 4 English language learners that we will be addressing as well occasionally, but not by name. 2 speak Spanish, 2 speak Mandarin. Also, I think that's about it for our context of our lesson.
Ready?
So, oh, one more thing. We will be referring to Miss Smith to have her pause us throughout the lesson. So if you hear, pause now, that's what's happening. So that way the class can have time to do their group work or their think, pair, share work and give us a little break and Miss Smith time to go through some of the things we can't do since we are not live in the classroom.
Right.
Yes?
Yep.
All right, at this point we're going to switch gears and I'm going to be Miss Johnson. This is Miss Snyder. So I will be saying hello to our class and explaining why we are gone and the way that we will be presenting this lesson. So we're going to start right now. Good morning, guys. Miss Snyder and myself are at an English conference this weekend, so we are not in the classroom. We have your substitute, Miss Smith, which you guys have had multiple times. She will be with you guys today. She's going to walk you through the lesson. It's going to be a little bit different than the way we usually do things in class. Miss Snyder and I will both say, pause us now, so if you see us do that, Miss Smith will probably walk over to the computer and press pause, so you guys have time to do your classroom activities. Alrighty, so for the agenda today, we're going to start with a think, pair, share. You guys are going to talk about what is thinking. We will also go over vocabulary. Just to let you know, it's going to be a little bit different than usual. We have your vocabulary words written on the board. As you guys know, we generally ask you what you think those words mean and kind of discuss it as a class. Since we can't do that today, we're going to just tell you what they mean and give you examples. If you have any questions about that, Ms. Smith can assist you, or we will talk about it when we get back tomorrow. You guys will watch a short video called Deserted Island. We will have a class discussion about that video. Ms. Snyder and I will assign your writing prompt for today, and you guys will work on a web cluster and a think aloud as a class. And then to wrap up, you'll do a little bit more group work, and we will talk about your assignment for tonight. Ms. Snyder, do you want to take away what is thinking?
Yes, so what is thinking? Everybody, we think more than we think we do. A lot of our activities that we do every day are involuntary. Think about when you get up out of bed in the morning. What do? You open your eyes, you sit up, you swing your feet over the bed, you stand up, you walk out of the room into the bathroom if that's where you go, or to go get breakfast. You're walking, you're breathing, you're blinking. These are all movements that you do without actually thinking about them. These are called involuntary movements, movements that you do without really thinking about it or having a choice in the matter. Also, thinking. How many thoughts do you guys think you have a day? What do you think about on a daily basis? How did you get to the classroom? How did you walk from one building to another to get into this classroom? So we're going to give you guys a few minutes to think, pair, share, work with your partner next to you. We'll give you, 2 to 3 minutes. Ms. Smith is going to go ahead and pause us now and give you a minute to think about thinking.
We'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Alrighty, we're back. Okay, so Ms. Snyder already talked about the word involuntary, so just things you do without thinking. She gave you the example of blinking and breathing. Do you think about every breath you take? Because I sure don't, and I think we'd be very tired if we had to think about every single breath we took or every blink we made. Ms. Snyder will talk about deserted.
So before we talk about deserted, involuntary, I asked the question, how many thoughts do you think you have a day? And if you Google it, you will find some interesting information. The average person has over 60,000 thoughts a day. Most of those thoughts are involuntary, including the blinking, the breathing, talking, walking. Deserted, yes. Deserted means a place empty of people. So think about Gilligan's Island. I don't know if that's a little old school for you guys. Or think about the show Survivor, where people are stuck in a place where there's no other people except the ones working together to survive.
Or Lost. We know you guys love Lost. So that's another example of a deserted island situation. So the word survival. The word survival is living through a disaster or an accident. So surviving a plane crash, for instance, or a hurricane, Hurricane Katrina, an earthquake, which is common in California. So you guys know all about that.
All right, climate. Climate is weather. So climate is essentially a particular type of weather in a general area for either a short period of time or a long period of time. Think of summertime, wintertime. Summer, winter, fall in California, they all kind of come and smash together because we don't have very distinct seasons. But if you go over to the West Coast, Michigan, Minnesota, where you get 5 feet of snow every winter, it's a very distinct climate.
And the word setting. That is a place or a type of surrounding where an event takes place. So if you think of our football game that was on Friday, it took place in this football stadium, so that would be your setting.
All right, tone. Tone is a little difficult to grasp sometimes. Tone is basically the expression of a writer or the feeling that you get from a movie or a video clip. So tone can be anything from the writer's attitude toward material or the reader, including like a playful tone or an aggressive, angry tone, a depressing tone, like a really sad movie that you watch that makes you cry. That would be a very depressing tone. You're going to really want to pay attention to setting and tone as we watch this video clip and as you think about the activity that we're going to be doing in class.
All right, Ms. Smith is going to show you guys the first minute of the video clip called Deserted Island. While you are watching the video clip, please keep in mind, like what we talked about, Survivor, Lost, Castaway, any of those types of settings or situations. So pause us now and watch your video, and we will see you in a couple minutes. We're back. Okay, Ms. Snyder is going to ask you some questions that will lead your class discussion. Ms. Smith will facilitate this. But we're going to read you the questions so you have them as well.
Also, Susie Max, Ms. Smith is going to hand you the questions written out for you so you have a copy to look at in case you have trouble reading it on the, not the overhead projector, but the document camera, because these questions will be put up for the entire class. Anybody else in class that wants to have a copy for themselves to really look at it, read it, think about it, ask Ms. Smith, and she has copies for you as well.
You may take notes on that as well. They're yours to keep.
All right, class discussion. So what happened in the video? I want everybody to take a minute, think about what happened, what were the activities, what were the characters doing, what is the problem, what is the issue that these two characters are having to face in the video. Also, what is the setting? Where are they? Are they on the moon? Are they at the beach? Really think about the setting. Where is this action taking place? Also consider the overall tone. Is it depressing? Is it sad? Is it playful? Things that we discussed earlier. And if you were these two characters, what would your needs be? They kind of talk about, at the end of the video, things to consider, to look around for. You don't want to give it all away because you want to make sure you were watching. But what did the boy character pick up and say that he could use? What are some other things that you would need to look for, you need to find to survive? Also, why do you need those things? Think about not just what you need, but why. Yes? So Ms. Smith is going to head and pause us for a few minutes. We'll have about 5 minutes or so. If you need more time, Ms. Smith will decide that. But about 5 minutes for you guys to have this class discussion and really think about these issues and these questions that we have on the document camera for you guys. So we will be back in a
second. Alrighty guys, we're back. After you guys do this activity, we are going to assign you a writing prompt today. I'm going to read it to you, but I want you to know that Ms. Smith has hard copies available for any or all of you that would like it. She's also going to show it on the document camera, so don't feel like you have to write down everything I'm going to read because it's a little bit wordy. Okay, here's your writing prompt. You and your friend are on a plane on vacation when one of you decides to play words with friends or one of the other games that you like to play under your desk when you think Ms. Snyder and I are not paying attention. Your friend reminds you you're not supposed to play on your phone when you are on a plane because it attracts pterodactyls. However, you tell your friend that you're about to beat your high score, and you ignore him or her. Suddenly, a pterodactyl crashes into your plane, and you and your friend are now the only two survivors stuck on an island together. So all you have are the clothes on your back, everything else that you packed, your suitcase full of anything else that you would possibly need, sunk with your plane. So you have nothing. You have one knife that washed up on shore.
Hope you were wearing shoes with laces, guys.
Yes, no flip-flops. Okay, so what would you and your friends do in order to make it out alive? What's your plan? Be creative, be descriptive, and rationalize your argument. So you can't just tell us that you would do something, you need to tell us why. We would like your response to be typed, at least 2 to 3 pages, double-spaced, and it needs to be in sequential, well-thought-out order. And we're going to talk about that. Ms. Smith is going to walk you guys through how to do that. So most importantly, be creative and have fun with this. We know you guys have done a lot of serious writing lately, and we wanted to do something where you got to be a little bit more creative and enjoy yourselves. So Ms. Snyder is going to go over a web cluster that you guys will be using to brainstorm your ideas. And then you guys will have some time to work on it together.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is an assignment you're doing with a partner. Even though you're each going to be writing your own essay, your web cluster is going to be together. So each of you is going to be writing the same story, but from your own perspective. So say, Jamie has laces with shoes, but I wore flip-flops. Am I going to be able to use one of her laces? How are we going to work together and why? So
you're a team. Remember that you are a team.
But you're each writing your own essay, but you're working together to create your story.
Right.
Okay, so for the web cluster, we really want to think about creativity. Again, we have some questions that we're going to ask you guys. Ms. Smith on the document camera is going to have these questions. Max, Susie, don't worry, she has specific ones for you guys, so you won't have a problem. You'll be able to see everything just fine and hear us. Anyone else that has any issues with reading or verbal issues that really just want to kind of hold on to it to think about it and really reflect on these questions, just ask Ms. Smith. She has plenty of copies. So we're going to go over these questions. Example, give you an example of the web cluster, and then from there you're going to have a little break to kind of go over it. So some things to consider. What kind of food or animals do you have on the island? So if you think back to some of your favorite TV shows, Gilligan's Island, what do they eat on Gilligan's Island?
That's a good question.
Maybe some coconuts?
Yep, coconuts.
Coconuts, bananas.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
They have to use natural resources. So to build a fire, that's how they cook all their food, right? They don't have a stove like we have at home.
Yep. In our video, Deserted Island, there are monkeys on the island. Could you eat those monkeys? Would you be able to hunt them? Or are they
perhaps the monkeys eat bananas, so maybe you could find the bananas the monkeys usually use.
Or maybe the monkeys want to eat you. Things to consider. So what is the climate? Is it hot? Is it humid? Is the air thick and sticky? Is it cold? Are you freezing and wish you would have packed your summer coat? Think about the weather that is on the island. What are some possible problems? We mentioned maybe these are cannibalistic monkeys and they want to eat you because you look delicious. Things to consider. Other possible problems. You don't have any supplies. You don't have any food. Lots of issues.
One night.
Are you guys alone? Is there another tribe of people on the island that are cannibals and want to eat you? Or do they want to be your friends and help you survive? What do you see on the island? So, for example, we definitely need to think about food, right? You need food for energy to survive. So, you mentioned food. Possibly coconuts, bananas. Do coconuts.
You also need to keep in mind the idea of shelter. So how are you going to stay covered from the elements? So if it's raining on this island and it's cold, how are you going to protect yourself? We talked about maybe there are bananas on the island, which would mean banana trees, which have big leaves that you could use. So think about what things you're going to use from the setting, your environment, to make a shelter.
Large leaves. What about, we have food, coconuts, shelter. We talked about other types of resources.
What about water? You can't drink salt water, right? Because if you crash into an island, you're near salt water. So what are you going to drink? How will you stay hydrated?
Is there a lake maybe that has fresh water? Are you going to be able to catch rainwater? If you do want to catch rainwater because it's in a rainforest type climate, how are you going to catch it? What are you going to use to gather your water?
You need to keep in mind your process. So you're not just telling us what you would do, but how and why you would do it.
Another thing, say that there are people on the island that are not so friendly, or you have those not so friendly monkeys. What are you going to do to defend yourself? You have one knife, but there's two of you. So maybe
weapons. What will you use to keep yourself safe? To defend one another. So this isn't one man for himself, right? You guys are trying to keep each other alive. So if Ms. Snyder and I were trapped on an island, not only would I be trying to save myself, but I would be trying to save her as well.
Thanks, friend.
Of course.
So now you guys, a few minutes to discuss.
We're going to give you maybe 3 to 5 minutes to discuss this. So Ms. Smith, if you could please pause us now. We will be back in a couple minutes to talk about what they came up with. We're back. Yay! All right, guys. So now that you guys have time to talk with Ms. Smith, I would like you guys to share, for each pair, I want you each to share one thing you came up with. Ms. Smith is going to create a list on the board for you guys. So for the other pairs, if you didn't come up with that, maybe jot that down. It would be a good thing to maybe include in your story, perhaps. So take another couple minutes to have Ms. Smith help you with that, and then we will be right back. Hey guys, we're back.
Time passes quickly in the world of video.
Alrighty, so the other thing that we want you guys to keep in mind is sequencing. So how you're going to sequence your story. So Ms. Smith is going to help you guys do a sequencing chart, so a story map, to help you visually go through your story. Ms. Snyder is going to jot down a few of the things that I'm going to tell you. For example, if your plane crashes on an island, right, and you swim ashore, you're probably going to try to find food and water before you start trying to build some huge kind of shelter, right? Because that would exhaust you, and after you do that, you'd be hungry and thirsty. So you would probably try to find food or water before you would try to build something. So Ms. Smith is going to help you guys sequence on the board right now. So take a couple of minutes. She's going to pass out a story map to all of you. So everybody will have their own. It will also be on the document camera, as well as Ms. Smith will write it on the board so that you guys can see that. So as you can see for our example for you, Ms. Snyder put food and like coconuts, water from a lake perhaps. Those are the first things that she would look for. Second thing, shelter. Looking for some kind of leaves or sticks or whatever to make a temporary home. The third thing that you would look for, weapons, right? So that's our example of a story map. Ms. Smith will pass that out now, so take a few minutes to do that, and we will be right back. And we're back.
All right, guys, so we went over our sequencing. You have your story map. Don't worry if you guys didn't have enough time to finish everything and get it all sequenced the way you want it. You have your web cluster already, so it's just a matter of putting the events in order, and it's just to help you really guide your thought process as you prepare for your writing assignments. Basically, the writing assignment, again, 2 to 3 typed response, double-spaced, 1-inch margins, guys. I know the trick here. Again, you guys are working as a team, so writing each of your own perspectives from the same story. Ms. Smith is going to have a list of the partners for us, so we will be able to know who collaborated together and whether the stories kind of match up or not. Again, this is kind of a free write. We're looking more for content
Right.
Yes, try to focus on your spelling. Yes, please try to focus on your grammar and your mechanics. But again, we're looking more for content. That doesn't mean go hog wild and don't care about these things. But please we're focusing on the content today. After we write this, if you guys need, when we come back tomorrow, we'll see if you guys need a little bit more time to refine your stories. But once they're completely finished, you're going to have some presentation options. You're going to be able to decide whether you just want to turn in a nice, polished version, free of spelling errors, free of grammar errors, looks beautiful, perfect, can send it on to the printer and publish it because it's so amazing because we know you're great writers. Or you guys can work together. If you guys want to do a skit, maybe you guys want to kind of act out your scenario being stuck on an island and have a little fun. Getting it all out there.
Yep.
And you must do this in front of the class. Everybody will see it.
It's not done at your seat.
It'll be really fun. Or you have another option of, if you're a little uncomfortable with being so exuberant and acting it out in front of the class, maybe what you can do instead is, if you feel more comfortable, you can just read your story orally to the class. Just read it out loud. So again, your options are final, polished, beautiful version of your written draft, or you can act it out in a skit with your partner, so the both of you will have to want to do this, or you can read it out loud. It's completely up to you guys. We'll kind of go over it a little more later. For some of you that are a little bit more on the creative, artistic side, maybe we can think about doing a comic strip or something if we have enough time. It depends on tomorrow how much we've gotten done from there. So more options are in the future, but these are the three main ones that we have for assessment purposes right now.
And just to clarify what Ms. Snyder said, if you choose to perform, so if you're either reading it or acting it out, both of you have to speak. So one of you doesn't get to stand there and be the monkey or be the crashing plane. You both have to speak, so each of you will be a pair. Ms. Snyder and I actually have a story that we prepared, so we will read that to you tomorrow, or maybe act it out if we're feeling spunky. So you guys can kind of see what we came up with.
Ms. Smith has a few copies. If there's time in the class, because I know this is a little bit longer of a lesson today, she will hand them out to you guys so you guys can read them as a class, or you can just take them home and read them yourself to kind of see a sample of what we expect of this writing assignment, so you'll have a rough copy to kind of look at and meet our expectations. Also, this web cluster and the story map is for you. These are guides to help you with your written response. So by all means, use the cluster, use the story map, but again, it needs to be in written paragraph form, not the bulleted form of the story map.
Exactly. You guys will also have the chance to edit. We're not expecting this to be perfect tomorrow. We know this is a little bit different of a format than we're used to. We're sorry we can't be with you today. We miss you guys. So we will give you the chance to edit. So if you're worried about it, don't. We will talk to you about it tomorrow. I also wanted to kind of introduce what we're going to be doing this week when we return. Ms. Snyder and I talked to you last week about how we are starting Lord of the Flies, which is one of our favorite books. So what we talked about in this, so deserted island, survival, climate, setting, tone, all of these things are huge in Lord of the Flies. So we did this as not only just a fun, creative way to get some writing done, but also as an introduction to the themes that you will be seeing in Lord of the Flies. So we will be picking those up, I believe, this week from the library, and then we will dive in head first with that once we wrap up this lesson when we return. So again, if you have any questions, don't worry. We will talk tomorrow. Thank you again, Ms. Smith, for doing this for us. We really appreciate it. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.